Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new DLC for Le Mans Ultimate. This is the European Le Mans Series Pack 1. Now I'm led to believe there's going to be 3 DLCs for the European Le Mans Series on Le Mans Ultimate, each featuring 1 car and 1 track. And this is the first one, and it features Silverstone and the Ligier JSP325. And in this build there's also an update to the LMP2. You can now run that in the European Le Mans Series spec. And there's loads of other changes, loads of liveries, loads of updates. But all we're going to talk about in this video is Silverstone and the LMP3. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to chuck on the virtual reality headset. I'm going to do a slow lap, give you a proper look at the circuit. And then we'll jump in the brand new LMP3 and do a couple of laps. But before we jump on track, I want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, the wonderful PC Specialist. Now, as you know, I've been running a PC Specialist system for quite some time, and it's genuinely the beating heart of this YouTube channel. And what you're going to see here is Le Mans Ultimate on ultra settings in VR, capturing the gameplay in 4K at 120 frames a second, all on the same PC. And this isn't a brand new PC Specialist system either. This was from last year. So the new ones are going to be even better. So if you are interested in taking your sim racing to the next level, please check out the link to PC Specialist down below in the video description. Use the code DAVE40 for £40 off your order. So a massive thank you again to PC Specialist for continuing to support the channel and sponsoring this video. Right, enough talking. Firstly, let's have a look at Silverstone. Right, let's have a look at the circuit. So I'll try not to move my head too much, but I can't help it. I want to show you everything. VR was the best way to do it. So the pit lane on this version of Silverstone, which is on the build that I'm using now, it's the old pit lane. So not the new one where the Formula 1 cars go and they kind of go down then back up. So this is the old layout. But it looks very nice, looks very good. So turn 1 for this layout is different to one that you might be familiar with in other simulators. Thank you, mate. So let's get out there and have a look. I'll try not to move my head too much, but everything's really nice, everything's really detailed. This is the latest version of Silverstone on any simulator, so it's not going to get any newer than this. And these buildings are here obviously on this layout, and these are residential properties. You can buy these. They obviously cost millions of pounds, but I don't think you can actually live in them for the whole year. I think you can only live in them for maybe 6 months, maybe even less. I saw a video, Mark McCann on YouTube. If you don't follow Mark McCann, give him a follow. Nice guy. He had a look around these and they look absolutely unbelievable, but you can't live in them for every day of the year, which is a bit of a shame. But imagine staying in one of those Grand Prix weekend. It would be incredible. But everything looks really nice. Everything looks really nice and detailed. There's loads of detail off the track. You know, you obviously want your detail on the track, your grandstands, your curbs, etc. There's loads of detail off the track behind the grandstands. Now this building is a restaurant with a nice balcony on the top. Imagine having some food there on race day, going out, having a few drinks. It would be unbelievable. But yeah, everything's really detailed. All the pylons that you can see in the distance, like the, whatever they are, communication satellites. Unbelievable. I mean, the grandstands at Silverstone need a bit of a do-over, don't they? They're just literally bits of scaffolding, some of them. So there's the back of the pit straight, which I'm familiar with, the new building. Impressive. I came here a few years ago now with Fanatec inviting me down for a Grand Prix for the Formula 1. And I remember coming in from the main entrance at Silverstone, trying to get to the back of that grandstand there, or the paddock club. It was an absolute nightmare. It took me forever. It was July. It was absolutely boiling. I just walked like 2 miles from where I parked the car up. It was a nightmare. Worth it though. It got me into Formula 1. But yeah, there's loads of detail. Loads and loads of detail. Everything looks incredible. Like all the lights and, you know, the CCTV there, the cameramen with the cranes, and there you've got the mobile phone or cell phone towers, and it just looks unbelievable. Really, really good. So this is the pit entry that I'm familiar with. Now, no doubt this will become available, I would imagine, at some point. But not now. It's corned off. Can't go down there. And that layout there would be quite fun to do that one. It would be a lot quicker entry to that double right. So there's a few sausage curbs to watch for. That's not one of them, but there's one here. And a couple of landmines on the inside. We can see everything rendered behind the grandstand there, the tents and stuff. It doesn't need to be rendered, but it is. Very, very impressive. Looks very good. So this is the new building on the right hand side. I remember when I came down for the Formula 1, the Paddock Club was just down here on the end of the building on the right. And we had food in the restaurant area on the right hand side there. And they brought out lobster. Now, I was sat at a table with a few of the people that had been invited down from by Fanatec. And they brought out lobster. I'd never had lobster before. And I'll never have it again. Because they brought it out, it was absolutely rank. Not the way they cooked it, it was just lobster. I'm just not a fan. But of course, I was sat at a table with a load of other people that I didn't know. So I had to eat it and pretend that I liked it. And I didn't. So the Paddock Club was just on the right hand side there where that tent is. And food and drink and all that included. A really, really good experience. And this grandstand here on the right hand side was the Paddock Club grandstand. So we sat in there, there was Game of Muscle was there, random call sign. I think Basic Ollie was there, but I didn't actually get to speak to Basic Ollie. I think he went all shy, but he was sat in there. I'm sure he was sat in front of us, I think. Anyway, I digress. Back to the circuit. Looks unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Got more of these buildings there that you can buy. I haven't got 2 pennies to rub together half the time, never mind buying one of these. Imagine being so rich you could just buy one. Just because you want one. But I think you'll agree, the circuit looks fantastic. It really does. LMU always do a really good job with the circuits. They all look superb. They're all modelled really well. They all look realistic. They all look good. I can't fault what LMU do regarding the circuits at all. Couple of small landmines on here, but they're not too bad. You can run over those, they're not too bad. So apologies if VR makes you sick, but I thought this was the best way to actually show you the circuit so you can get a proper look at it. And there's the pit entry there that we'll use for this layout. It's the old pit straight, this one. I'm sure the other one will become available. I'm sure it will. But the build I'm on, this is the only layout we can run. What's that? Silverstone UTC. But there we go. So that's a lap of Silverstone. Let's jump into cockpit view and give you a look at the LMP3. So let's get out there on track. Start this up. So this is a 3.5 litre twin turbo V6. Feels a bit lazy. Although it isn't. I mean, it's revving up really quick. It just seems to... It needs a few more revs, I think. So 7,000 RPM. I mean, it's not. It's still revving pretty high. It just doesn't seem it, really. Right. Get out there. Thank you, mate. You've been very patient there. Appreciate it. Right. So yeah, visibility isn't great, but as I mentioned, you can look around the A-pillar when you're in VR, which makes a big difference. So steering wheel is tiny. And it is a bit of a challenge to drive. You think because it's a prototype, it's going to have loads of grip everywhere, and it doesn't. Obviously, the faster you go, the more grip you have. But on the slower stuff, it doesn't have a huge amount of grip. So it's going to catch quite a few people out, no doubt, on corner entry, over rotating. I know it certainly caught me out a few times. Although I haven't done a huge amount of laps, need more practice to get the most out of the car. So nice steady lap before we start pushing. So on the steering wheel, you can see the tyre temperatures now. So the fronts are just under 180. Rears are in the 50s, 150s. So they're not there yet. That's where you need to look around that A-pillar there, round for that apex there. So this is normally turn 1, but obviously it's not on this layout. We're kind of halfway around the lap now. And they're having to look out the window to see that apex there. On a single screen, it is going to be really challenging. But it's a good fun car to drive. It really is fun. It's a nice place to be in VR, I must say. It really feels like you're in a race car. Again, looking out the window, trying to see that apex there. Having a look around the A-pillar, just to see where we are. So this is the start of a new lap. So we won't be able to push too much through here, as the tyres are still not where they need to be. Yeah, it feels a little bit twitchy. When you get on the gas, it feels completely fine. It's just that lift off oversteer. It just feels a little bit light at the rear. Definitely going to catch quite a few people out. There you can see, very, very light. But I suppose in real life you wouldn't be pushing on the first to second lap 100%. So tyres are getting there now, so the lefts are hotter than the rights. So satisfying though in VR when you spot the apex and you nail the apex. That's when VR pays dividends. But I don't know how much of that curb you can actually cut there. I know on iRacing you can cut it quite a bit. I don't know what it'll be like in LMU. So let's see what we do over the line. Not particularly quick. 58.1, definitely go quicker than that. So obviously as the downforce increases, the more grip you have. So on the faster stuff, it feels pretty good. It feels a bit better through here now. Still a little bit light, but better. Half a second up on the delta. Try and spot this apex a bit better this time. That's better. Much better. Yeah, second up. So again, I don't know how much of these curbs we can actually cut. Yeah, having to look right round that A-pillar. That's halfway around the lap. Loads of grip on corner exit. It's going to be a fun car to race. Definitely. That was better. So we'll cut a bit more of that curb there, but I don't know if that's going to invalidate the lap or not. Yeah, there's loads of grip on corner exit. I'm just using the default setup, just taking a little bit of fuel out. So what's this over the line? 56.5. Probably take another second off that, I would guess at least. But what a fun little car. Really, really good fun. Again, Le Mans Ultimate, top job. So there we go. What a top job by Le Mans Ultimate. Silverstone looks absolutely fantastic, and the LMP3 seems like a really, really fun car. But just like on other simulators, the LMP3 is a real challenge. It's got lots of prototype tendencies, but on the low speed stuff, it's all about mechanical grip. So you've almost got to have two different driving styles. And driving it in VR just makes you realise how small these cars actually are. But it's a massive thumbs up from me for Le Mans Ultimate. They've done an absolutely sterling job. So this pack is going to be released on the 23rd of September. I think it's going to cost £8.99, €9.99 or $11.99. And for one car and one track, I don't think that's bad value. But as always, I want to say a massive thank you to Le Mans Ultimate and Studio 397 for giving me access a little bit early. But let me know what you think of this DLC down below in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.